Friends, very warm welcome to my business laws channel. Last time friends, in the last video I had covered number of headings, introduction of contract of agency, and then up to the heading delegation of authority I had covered, and remaining headings from the chapter agency I will cover today. So which headings all I covered? Let me So I covered meaning of contract of agency, principles, features, and then after that kinds of agents, creation of agency, and after that extent of authority of agent, delegation of authority, meaning of sub-agent, and substituted agent. So today, friends, I'm going to take up how is sub-agent different from substituted agent. Very often question is asked in the examination, distinguish between sub-agent and substituted agent. So I will discuss this difference in the tabular form. The very first point is appointment. Sub-agent is always appointed by the original agent, and he is always appointed in the cases which have been provided under section 190. And substituted agent is always appointed by the principal. Even if he is appointed by the agent, but he is appointed under the direction of the principal. So he is always appointed by the principal, direction and control. You know, who works under whose direction and control? When we talk about sub-agent, he always works under the direction and control of the agent, because original agent is employer, and substituted agent always works under the instructions of the principal. Responsibility. Who is responsible to whom? A sub-agent is not responsible to the principal except for frauds and wrongful acts. A substituted agent is always responsible to the principal for the acts assigned to him. Privity of contract. There is no privity of contract between the sub-agent and the principal, but there is privity of contract between the substituted agent and the principal. When we talk about sub-agent, there is privity of contract between the sub-agent and the original agent. So P has appointed A has appointed B as his sub-agent. Then there is privity of contract between A and B, and there is privity of contract between the principal and the agent. And say C is the substituted agent, then there will be privity of contract between C and the principal P. Moving ahead, friends, the next point is liability of agent. Agent is always liable for the acts of the sub-agent to the principal. Agent is not liable for the acts of the substituted agent to the principal, because it is the substituted agent is always responsible, answerable to the principal. Agent is not discharged from his liability so long as the sub-agency continues. He will be discharged from his liability only when the sub-agency will come to an end. Agent drops out from the scene after he has named or appointed the substituted agent. So then his role is over after he is appointed. Say he says, my friend is looking for the job, and he tells his principal that you can appoint him as substituted agent. Then his role is, his job is over. He drops out from the scene. Responsibility of principal. Principal is not responsible for the acts committed by the sub-agent to the third parties, provided he is improperly appointed sub-agent. Friends, you all know, friends, that sub-agent is properly appointed, sub-agent is improperly appointed. A sub-agent is said to be properly appointed if he is appointed in one of those 6 cases which have been provided under section 190. Principal is responsible for the acts of the substituted agent to the third party. Now, friends, I'll take up another heading, which is duties of agent. duties of agent are the rights of principal, and rights of agent are the duties of principal. So I'll cover duties of agent and the rights of agent hurriedly, and then if question is asked on the duties and rights of the principal, then you can mold the answer according to that. Okay, only the difference will lie in the presentation. So let us start now. The very first duty is duty to act according to the principal's directions. So it is a duty of the agent. He should always act as per the directions of the principal. If the principal has told him to sell the item not below the reserve price, but he has sold the item on below the reserve price. The goods have been sold on auction basis. The auctioneer has been appointed, and he has been the subject matter of the auction is machinery. And principal has told him that reserve price is 30,000 rupees. You're not going to sell the machinery below 30,000 rupees. And what agent has done? Agent has sold this machinery at 20,000 rupees. Then 10,000 loss. Agent has to compensate the principal, because it is the foremost duty of the agent that he must follow the instructions which are given to him by his principal. Moving ahead, friends, duty to conduct the business with skill and due diligence. The agent must perform his duties in the most efficient manner. He should not at all be negligent. Okay, so he should perform all his duties in the most efficient manner. Duty to render proper accounts. It is again the duty of the agent that all accounts must be properly maintained, and all accounts must be rendered to the principal on time, from time to time. Next is duty to communicate with principal in case of defect. Suppose emergency has taken place, then it becomes his duty. He must communicate with his principal. If principal is not able to be contacted, then he should always take the decision keeping the interest of the principal in his mind. Say on the way the goods catch fire, okay, or some other emergency may also arise, then he should always act in the best interest of his principal. Duty not to deal on his own account. He is not allowed to deal on his own account. The principal says that you look for a certain property in the South Delhi area, and he goes and looks for the property in South Delhi area, and then he comes to know that in the South Delhi area, the property is available at very cheap prices. To his principal, he says no property is available in South Delhi area, but then he buys that property for his personal use. Okay, and then the principal later comes to know, then in that case, principal will have the right to terminate his services. So he should never ever, deal on his own account. Duty not to make secret profits. He is not allowed to make any secret profits. He is selling the goods belonging to his principal, for which he is being paid the commission or salary. He should never, make secret profits. If by mistake he has made the secret profits, he should always try to disclose to his principal. Duty to pay sums received for the principal. He is selling the goods on behalf of principal. Or if he is raising the loan on the basis of pledge of goods, if the need arises, that is also on behalf of the principal. Whatever amount he has received, he should always hand over the entire amount, to his principal. Duty not to delegate authority. Section 190 provides delegators non-protest, protest delegere. A delegate cannot further delegate. But exceptional cases are there, which are 6 points, which I have already discussed in my last video. So in those 6 cases, he is allowed to delegate his authority, and leaving those 6 cases, he should not delegate his authority. Means he should not appoint anybody as his sub-agent. Duty to protect the interest of the principal on his death. If unfortunately the principal has died, then whosoever is a legal hire or is legal representative, and he should always give proper accounts or money belong to the principal to his legal representative in case the principal dies. So friends, this is all about the various duties of the agent, and now I'll take up rights of agent. The very first right before you is right to retain. Retain what? Retain goods. He has a right to retain the goods because he has been appointed to sell the goods, by his principal. He has the right to retain the goods and sell the goods. If the goods have not been sold, then stock, he has a right to retain. Right to retain goods as well as right to retain the money. Right to receive remuneration. He is not doing the work without salary or remuneration. Whatever amount has been settled between the two as per agreement, the agent has a right to receive that remuneration. So agent must be given the remuneration. So this is the duty of the principal. Principal must pay the reasonable remuneration to his agent. Right of lien. Right? Lien is the right to retain the goods. Why are the goods being retained? Because some dues are not paid. The agent has a right to receive remuneration. His remuneration is not being paid. Then, agent has a right to retain the goods till his remuneration is paid. Right of compensation. If agent suffers during the course of agency, if agent suffers any amount of loss, then, he has the right to be compensated by the principal. Right to be indemnified against consequences of lawful acts. He undertakes some lawful acts, and he suffers certain amount of losses. He has to bear consequences. Then, he has the right to be indemnified for that from his principal. Right to be indemnified against consequences of acts done in good faith. He is working in good faith, thinking that his principal belongs, his principal is the owner of the goods which have been given to him, and then he comes to know that ultimately he comes to know the goods were stolen goods. They belong to the true owner, and the true owner takes certain actions against the agent. Then in that case, whatever loss the agent suffers, he has the right to be indemnified by the so-called principal, who was not having good title to the goods. Right of stoppage of goods in transit. If the goods are in transit and then the buyer has become insolvent, then in that case he has a right to stop the goods in transit, because buyer won't be able to pay the price. So why to deliver the goods to such buyer who has become insolvent, who will not be able to pay the price? The agent is acting in the capacity of seller, and he has come to know that the goods are in transit and the buyer has become insolvent. Then he can give the instructions to the railway authorities or intermediaries to stop the goods, not to deliver the goods to the buyer at the point of destination. So friends, it is all about the rights and duties of the agent. Or we can say rights and duties of the principal, because the difference lies in the way of presentation. And now moving ahead, friends. Now the next heading is, friends, liability of principal. Very important heading from examination point of view. How is the principal liable for the acts of agent? Because we always say that all the acts of the agent are the acts of the principal. So this heading I would like to discuss under 3 subheadings. The first subheading is, friends, rights of the named principal. Second is liability of the unnamed principal. Liability of the named principal, liability of the unnamed principal, the liability of the undisclosed or concealed principal. Now the question arises, what is the meaning of all these terms? Who is named principal? Who is unnamed principal? And how can we say who is the undisclosed or concealed principal? principal is said to be named principal when his identity as well as existence both are disclosed by the agent to the third parties. Third parties know that somebody is acting on behalf of principal, and on whose behalf he is acting, okay, that is also known to the third party. So in such a case, friends, the principal is said to be named principal. How is the named principal liable to the third party? This I would like to discuss under 5 points. The very first point is, friends, where an agent acts within the scope of his actual or apparent authority. So where the agent acts within the scope of his actual or apparent authority, whatever he is doing, he has been authorized for that. Then, the named principal is held liable for the acts of the agent. Second is, where an agent acts in excess of his actual and apparent authority. He has crossed the limits. Some limit was set by his principal, but he has gone beyond that. Now there are two cases, friends, that whatever excess he has done, that is separable from the authorized portion. Only the act which is within the authority is binding between him and his principal. Say he is allowed to take the insurance policy for the ship, but he has taken the insurance policy for the cargo also. Then for the premium amount for the insurance policy of the ship, principal will be held liable, and for the cargo, principal will not be held liable. Okay, so here, both are separable. Premium amount is separable for the ship and the cargo. Where the excess of agent's authority is not separable from the authorized portion, then in that case, friends, the whole transaction, the principal can cancel. The agent shall be held personally liable because both are not separable or non-separable. Now moving ahead, friends, the next point is liability of the principal for the misrepresentation of or fraud of the agent. Agent has committed misrepresentation or he has committed fraud. If they are within the authority, actual or apparent, then also the principal will be held. So you all know, friends, in detail, I have discussed in my earlier videos what is the meaning of misrepresentation and fraud. Both terms are different from each other. In detail, I have taught you earlier. If you still have any doubt, you can always write in the comment section. Principal bound by notice to the agent. Any notice which is within the knowledge of the agent, it is always presumed it is within the knowledge of the principal. Any notice given to the agent means notice given to the principal. Principal cannot say, I was not aware, my agent was aware. So if his agent is aware, it is taken as if, it is known to the principal also. The last point is liability of the principal, inducing belief that agent's unauthorized acts were authorized. So friends, ratification I have talked about. Sometimes agent does something without the prior authority of his principal, but that act is ratified by the principal subsequently. So if unauthorized acts are authorized, they have been ratified, then also, friends, principal's liability will be the same because ratification tantamounts to prior authority. Coming to unnamed principal, principal is said to be unnamed principal when his identity is not disclosed, but existence is disclosed. Principal does exist. This fact is known to the third party, but who is the principal? This fact is not known to the third party. On being discovered, rights and obligations of the unnamed principals are same as if it was the named principal. So friends, the liability of the named principal and unnamed principal is the same. Now coming to the third type, which is undisclosed principal. Undisclosed. Everything remains undisclosed. Existence as well as identity. Third party is under the impression that, agent is acting on his own behalf. Nothing is disclosed. Neither existence nor identity. Then the principal is said to be undisclosed or concealed principal. 3 points I would like to discuss. What is the position of agent? Agent becomes personally liable to the third party. Position of the undisclosed principal. The principal has the right to intervene and enforce the performance of the contract against the third party, but he cannot exercise this right to the prejudice of the third party with whom the agent has contracted in his own name. Let us say, friends, the contract has been entered into, but it has not been performed. Intervene in between. The principal can intervene. Okay, principal can intervene in between. Then, in that case, now a principal can intervene, and I would like to discuss the position of the third party. The other contracting party may either refuse to fulfill the contract and is entitled to claim a right of set-off against the agent, or he may sue either the principal or the agent or both. If principal intervenes, then the third party can put an end to the contract, has the right to put an end to the contract, saying that had he or she known that he was the principal in this case, she or he would never have entered into the contract. Or he has the right. He has the right to set off. Right? Set off means right to make adjustment against the agent, or he may sue either against the principal or against the agent or against both the parties. So friends, I have explained the position of the agent, position of the principal, and position of the third party. So in a way, I have completed the heading liability of the named principal, unnamed principal, and undisclosed or concealed principal. Now the second last heading is personal liability of agent. We always say, friends, the acts of the agent are the acts of the principal. But these are the exceptional cases where the acts of the agent will not be the acts of the principal, but they will be the acts of the agent himself. Or we can say personal liability of agent. Which are the circumstances in which agent is held liable on personal basis? So I would like to discuss this where the agent expressly agrees. Agent has expressly agreed with the principal that in such cases he will be held liable on personal basis. And where the principal is a foreign principal, then also, friends, in that case, agent will be held liable on personal basis. Where the agent acts for the unnamed principal, he is personally liable provided he does not disclose the identity of the principal. So, principal is said to be unnamed when existence is disclosed but identity is not. But third party has asked the agent to disclose the identity of the principal, and still he has not disclosed. Then he will be held liable on personal basis. Where the agent has been disclosed, but he cannot be sued. No action can be taken against the principal. Then also, friends, agent is held liable on personal basis. Agent is held liable on personal basis where he has exceeded his authority. Then also, friends, he will be liable on personal basis. For the excess part, if separable from the unauthorized part, for the whole transaction, if not separable from the authorized part. This already I have discussed. If you have any query, you can always write in the comment section. And now, friends, I will take up last heading, which is termination of agency by the act of the parties and by operation of law. Or the contract comes to an end by act of the parties, a mutual agreement between the principal and the agent. Principal has appointed agent, somebody has agent, okay. Then, after some time, both meet together with their mutual consent. They put an end to the contract of agency. And the contract of agency will come to an end. By revocation by the principal, except irrevocable agency. Principal revokes his authority. It doesn't mean, friends, authority once assigned cannot be revoked. It can be revoked. Okay, it can be revoked except irrevocable agency. Friends, remember, there are certain cases where the agency becomes irrevocable. It cannot be revoked. Say, authority has been assigned and it has been partly exercised by the agent. then the contract of agency becomes irrevocable. Or if the agent has his own interest in the contract, then also the contract of agency becomes irrevocable. He has spent his own money and now the principal wants to revoke his authority. He cannot. By revocation by the agent. Now, the agent doesn't want to work as an agent. Then also the contract will come to an end. But when we talk about revocation by the principal, revocation by the agent, then they both should see to it that revocation by them should not result in any loss to the other. And apart from this, contract of agency also comes to an end by operation of law. It is a law which operates and puts an end to the contract of agency. And a number of points are there, number of cases where the law operates and terminates the contract of agency. When the objective is over, the period is over. Agent was appointed for 5 years period and 5 years period is over. Agent was appointed to buy house and the house has been bought. The principal dies or the agent dies. Principal becomes of unsound mind or the agent becomes of unsound mind. Subject matter of agency is destroyed. Agent was appointed to sell second-hand car and due to some reason or the other, the car got destroyed. Then also the contract of agency will come to an end. Dissolution of company. Company has been dissolved. Company was an agent or company was the principal. The principal or the agent becoming an alien enemy. Alien friend, alien enemy. If two countries are having good terms with each other, citizens of both the countries, they are known as alien friends. And if there is outbreak of war between the two countries, then the citizens will become enemies, alien enemies. On termination of sub-agent's authority, the contract of sub-agency has come to an end. Then also the contract of agency will get terminated. So friends, this is all about the chapter contract of agency. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching my video. Do subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet, and do press on the bell icon to get notifications of my future videos. Keep smiling and stay blessed always. We will meet soon. Till then, goodbye.